We've just seen the release of the brand new Cobra Speedzone driver, but how does it compare to last year's Cobra F9 driver, potentially the best driver of 2019? Let's find out, and let's do it now. Everyone, just a real quick side note, if you would like to be in with a chance of winning a Cobra Speedzone or a Cobra Speedzone Xtreme, make sure you head over to my comparison video between the Cobra Speedzone and the Cobra Speedzone Xtreme. There I'll tell you exactly what you need to do to be in with a chance of winning. It's really, really easy. You just have to be a subscriber, you have to like that video, go ahead and like this video while you're at it, and you have to comment below on that video, speed, S-P-E-E-D, speed. Not this video, that video. Now let's get back to the F9 Speedzone comparison. Hi everyone, James Robinson here. If you're new to the channel and this is your very first time watching my content, first of all, welcome to the channel. Second of all, please make sure you do consider hitting that subscribe button before you leave. That way you won't miss any of the great golf related content that we bring to you guys every single day. In today's video, we are talking Cobra F9 Speedback versus Cobra Speedzone. How much difference is there? How different does it feel? How different does it perform? How different does it look? So guys, I've just finished filming my review of the brand new Cobra Speedzone driver. So if you want to see that, I will link it there, or I forget where it is. I'll link it somewhere in this video so you can go and check that out. And I will talk much more in depth about the 6 different zones that Cobra have created to make the Speedzone so much better than the F9. Yeah? First of all, let me show you these 10 shots, and then we'll compare them. We are now going to compare the Cobra F9 against the Cobra Speedzone, and luckily we still do have this adjustable hosel in the Speedzone, and the shafts do change over from the F9 into the Speedzone, so we are going to use exactly the same shaft with exactly the same settings to give it a nice fair test. Now I guess the first points have to be scored on an aesthetic basis, don't they, on a visual basis, because so many people were attracted to the bright, vibrant colours of the Cobra F9 in 2019, and we still have those colours in the King Speedzone. Just a little bit subdued, just a little bit more subdued on the Speedzone, a little bit quieter, not quite as black and yellow. Obviously both are still available in the Arctic edition, which is the white edition, which I quite like, but then I do quite like the yellow. It's grown on me through the year. So let's hit some F9s and let's see how it compares. Bad start. Could that be a target ball straight off the bat? Need to go. Not a bad starter. And you see, this is going to be really interesting because I'm not expecting the Speedzone to massively outperform the F9, because let's face it, the F9 was a very, and still is a very good driver. So if you're thinking of potentially moving out of the F9 into the Speedzone, I guess you're sort of going to have to ask yourself why. Are you going to see much more power? Are you going to see much more performance? Are you going to hit more fairways with it? I guess only you guys can decide that by testing it like I'm doing now. But for me, big points go on the board when it comes to the aesthetics of these two clubs. If we look at both of these crowns now, yes, we both have a carbon crown, but for me, the F9, the kind of turbulator things on top, they never really did it for me. They just didn't look, for me, they just didn't look nice. Whereas the aesthetics on top of the Speedzone with that new Cobra logo, the C in there, instead of just the old school snake with the crown on top, looks miles better. I love the yellow detailing on top as well with the little hint of red. And even where it says 360 carbon wrap on the bottom there, I just think they give it a little bit more detailing as opposed to on top of the F9 where it just looks... It's amazing actually how the Speedzone's come out and it's made the F9 almost look dated already, which I suppose that would be the idea, wouldn't it? That was a good hit. It was another solid hit. See, the F9 it's hard, isn't it, because it's a good driver. And I did say on my review of the Speedzone driver, I don't think Cobra fans would have been too disappointed if the Speedzone was shelved for a year, if the F9 was continued, if we just had different colour schemes, maybe a different facelift model almost. That was a little bit heely, so it's going to be interesting to see how these numbers come out. Now it does feel strange almost after testing the Speedzone driver to look down and see the normal face instead of the CNC milled infinity face, because I must admit when I first saw this face I thought, infinity face? Really? But after testing it with 10 shots it has actually grown on me a lot. A lot. Sound and feel wise, there is definitely a difference between these drivers. I think for me the Speedzone almost feels softer, almost feels a little bit more pleasant to hit. Pleasant to hit? That makes sense to me. And you see now guys, obviously you are going to start to see the prices drop of Cobra F9s if there are still some available. So hit those comments below. Would you go Cobra F9 or would you pay full price for the King Speedzone? Okay, getting halfway through the test now. Let's really start to crank it up just like we did with the Speedzone. We got some monsters out there when we tested that one. Oh, left! That's a lost ball on the range. Similar ball flight. I am missing it right today generally. I know we just had one that went miles left, but there's the one. Could that be a target ball? I think it could be. Get up, go! Nearly. So I've absolutely nailed that one, and that's gone 274 yards. Now, when I ripped one, when I absolutely nailed one with the Speedzone driver, it did feel better, and it did perform better. And it's almost a bit of a weird test for me, this, because you will remember that when I tested the F9 against a lot of 2019 drivers, against the M6, against the M5, against the TS3, against the Callaway Epic Flash, it didn't do very well, and a lot of people were in the comments like, why didn't it do very well? And I'm like, I don't know. For me, it just didn't. But then the Speedzone, I mean, you're going to have to go and watch the review, and I will talk you through the numbers on the Speedzone, obviously when we compare to the F9, because there won't be worlds apart. There can't be worlds apart, can they? That's nearly as good as I've got. That's not even moving in the air. That's just on the line. It's still on the line. Still on the line. 270. And I've got no doubt that that is where the average will about be. The average will be around 270 because that's where the average always is. But how will the spin rates compare? How will the launch angles compare? How will ball speeds compare? Let's hit 3 more shots with the F9 and then let's compare. That's got to be big. That's got to be big. About 270-ish, maybe a little bit more. 274. I'm quite enjoying the consistency of the F9 with the ball flights. Obviously, apart from the one that we nearly sent over to the east coast as opposed to the west coast, depending which way we're aiming, I suppose. There we go, there's another left shot. As soon as you say I'm quite enjoying the dispersion, left. Okay, last shot with the Cobra F9, then we will compare with the 10 shots of the Cobra Speedzone, and we'll see just if you should move out of your Cobra F9 into the Speedzone. Last shot, let's make it count. Nailed it, but it's left. That is a long way left. Fall left! As Alex would say, that is in someone's public barbecue. 280, nearly, 279.3. Guys, let's take a look at these numbers. Let's compare the Cobra F9 to the brand new all-singing, all-dancing Cobra Speedzone, and let's do it now. So let's start with looking at the dispersion for the Cobra F9, where we've just finished. And it's not ideal, is it? Obviously, dispersion I don't really like talking about too much because obviously it is the pilot, not necessarily the driver. I don't mind the cluster on the right. Those ones which plague me are the ones that I really do not want to see. So what about the Speedzone? So Speedzone, as you can see, a little bit more scattered, but we don't have those horrible ones to the left. So I'm quite happy with that. Again, I really wouldn't read too much into that, whether that's the driver or not, but the factual information is there, that is where they are. What about numbers? So we'll start with the Speedzone because that's where we've just left off, and the longest drive with the Speedzone was 285 yards, which felt fantastic, and it was a sub 2000 spin as well. The average distance of the Speedzone was 272 yards, as you can see there. The average club head speed was 103, ball speed 152, an average spin of 2,213, which is pretty much on the money. What about the F9? F9 average of 269 with an average spin of 2,500, so spinning a little bit more. Exactly the same club speed at 103 miles an hour, and ball speed was actually up on the F9 as opposed to the Speedzone at 153 miles an hour, as opposed to, as you can see there, 152 miles an hour. But due to the spin rate and everything else, on average we do have longer drives with the Speedzone. But what about the longest drive with the F9? As we cycle through them all, you'll see that they're all around kind of 270, 265, 270. We had a real bad one, which was that one, and you see how far left it went on the right hand side of the screen there. That was down at 255. Interestingly, we had a bad drive with the Speedzone, which was a similar number, again just down to pilot error. Then we start getting back up into the 270s, 270 again, 273, 277, and then the last one, which was the longest, at 279. So even the longest drive with the Speedzone was longer than the longest drive with the Cobra F9. But for me, we really are splitting hairs with that performance. Obviously, I've hit 10 shots with both. If we did that test again, things would probably be different because, contrary to popular belief, I am not a robot. The reason why, the big reason for me why Cobra Speedzone takes it over the Cobra F9 for me really is purely down to how much better it looks. It looks so much better on top, it looks so much better on bottom, the face looks absolutely brilliant down at the golf ball, and I just think overall it looks like a much more of an appealing package than the F9 did. I've never really sort of got on with the F9 and I could never put my finger on it. As you can see there in the testing, that probably was relayed into the numbers as well. We were 3 yards down on average than the Speedzone. Again, once again, we are clutching at hairs if you think that if you are using a Cobra F9 driver, moving into the Speedzone would get you a big difference. But all in all, I do have to say that the guys at Cobra have done a fantastic job by moving forward with the F9 because they had a huge task on their hands. It was a fantastic driver. Again, I keep saying this, it still is a fantastic driver. But for me, if I was going to choose one, aesthetics are a big thing, aren't they? Things have to look good, things have to look right. So, could it? We'll have to wait and see. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have, please make sure you do hit that subscribe button below. Leave us a like if you enjoyed that content so that I know that you know that we know that knows that knows that you know that I know that you're enjoying the content. Huge thank you to the guys here at Golfbox TV and Alex Etchers for hosting me in this beautiful studio. If you are in Western Australia, if you are in Perth, make sure you get down and see the guys here at Golfbox. Apart from that, guys, I very, very, very much look forward to seeing all your smiling faces tomorrow.